But what we have done with the membership program is to make a lot of our thinking about marketing available to more people and to make it more accessible to folks like you. So what I'm going to do is just show you a little bit behind the scenes of our membership program, and by way of doing so, actually show you some ideas, right? So I'm going to talk about membership, but I'm also going to give you some value here today and to show you what I mean, because I know it's very difficult right now, given the situation with all of the change in real estate, to think about, well, how do I market to consumers right now, to buyers particularly, but also to sellers? And how do I differentiate myself from every other practitioner out there? And how do I demonstrate and articulate my value, which is more important and salient than ever? So I'm going to share some examples with you and just run you through sort of how we think about the current situation and what we think maybe you can do about it. So I'm going to share my screen here and just walk you through some thoughts, right? So marketing in a post-settlement world. So you all have been through all kinds of change in the last 60 days or so. I've been around this business for 25 years, and I've never seen change like we have experienced very rapidly just this summer and early fall. So things are weird. And I want to just give you a sense of how we see the situation right now. And here's how I would represent it. And this may seem strange to you, but the situation that we had created in the industry, and I'm talking about all real estate agents and teams and brokers, is as far as the buy side in particular, we had really created, just because of the rules and the system we were operating within, sort of this void of understanding. And what I mean by that is that unlike the listing side of the business, where agents always talked about compensation, always went through a listing presentation that explained their value, what they were going to do, how they were paid, what they did in the process of helping a seller. On the buy side, a lot of those things just didn't happen. In fact, we've done survey research with recent buyers that indicate about 75% don't even really know, looking back on their recent transaction, how their agent got paid or who paid them. Was it me? Was it the seller? So there was this like black hole. And many sellers, excuse me, many buyers viewed real estate agent services as being free. And in fact, many agents explicitly said that my services are free to you as a buyer. And so our question is really, how can you value something that is free, and how can you value something that is not articulated and explained clearly? Well, you can't. And so decades and decades of this situation created this vacuum. And in this vacuum, most people, consumers, really don't have an understanding of what a good agent is, particularly on the buy side. People don't know what a not so great agent is, particularly on the buy side. People just know a lot of real estate agents. As part of our research, we asked people about 6 months ago, how many real estate agents do you know personally? Personally, meaning they're your neighbors, they're in your family, you work with them, maybe you know them from church or wherever your kid's school. The answer was 6.8. So the average American knows 6.8 real estate agents personally. Now, on the buy side of a transaction, 70% of the time, it's a couple buying a home. So that means that that couple who's buying a home knows 13.6 real estate agents personally. And the way that people picked buyer agents often was just because we knew them, right? We knew so many people in our lives, and it wasn't based on a clear understanding of value and compensation. And so that's the situation that we have to address right now. And we sometimes think about it as sort of like a Shark Tank moment. So maybe some of you watch this show, maybe some of you don't. But this is a show where entrepreneurs have an idea and they have to pitch the idea and the value of their idea and their business to some folks who are there to basically pick it apart and decide whether they're going to buy into that idea or not. And this is really the situation we find ourselves in just in the last month or so with the settlement taking in effect. We have to go to the public who has heard for a year or 2 years about everything changing in real estate, lots of unfortunate headlines about real estate agents and the real estate industry. And now on the buy side, you have to make your pitch to a public under new rules and a public that is frankly skeptical. And this is kind of the make or break moment. And if you've got a good pitch, if you can articulate your value, you'll do fine. And if you can't, the consumer is not going to buy into you as a practitioner. So that's sort of the situation and the challenge that we find ourselves in. The rules have changed, and we got to go to the marketplace with a new story and new marketing and new messaging. And so that gets us to what do we do about this? What do you as practitioners do about this completely new situation, dealing with a consumer that is been fed lots of ideas that are largely unfavorable to you over the past year or two? What do we do? Well, in our point of view, it comes down to something like this. And this is a quote that we repeat often and informs our work with our membership program. The best marketers and brand builders, and you all have a brand and you want to build it, and you all have to do marketing and you want to be better at it. The best marketers and brand builders don't know more about the latest tool or tactic. They know more about people. So you probably get pitched for this or that technology all the time, and that's great, or this marketing tool or that marketing tool. The key to building a brand and being a successful marketing is to understand the people with whom you are trying to connect. That is the key. And so what we have done at 1000 Watt with our membership program is we have helped you understand your customer more closely and then take action on that understanding through your marketing and your messaging. And it's really kind of simple. This graphic, maybe if you think back to maybe high school biology, represents the scientific method. And this also represents the essence of marketing. Marketing is in many ways science. And the way that this process works, and this is what we baked into our membership program, is you make observations about the world, in this case, your customer. You listen to them, you talk with them, you ask them what they think, and then based on what they tell you, you formulate questions. Well, what if this? What if I did that for my customer? What if buyers think this? And then you come up with hypotheses or ideas, right? Well, maybe if people understand affordability in terms of monthly payment, for example, instead of mortgage rate, then my marketing shouldn't talk about mortgage rate. It should talk about monthly payments, for example. And then you make predictions and you say, well, I'm going to put this marketing out into the world, and then you test it. You do whatever you do for marketing, whether it's direct mail or email or social, all the things that you do, and then you get the feedback and you do it again. And this is the essence of marketing, and it's the essence of what we do with our membership program. And the way that that happens is, first of all, we do the observations. For the last 3 years, we have methodically and consistently, every single month, talked to and engaged with consumers. So that involves two things. So here is a focus group. I'm talking with 6 recent buyers in this case, and I'm asking them questions, and I'm being extremely neutral, and I'm getting their feedback. And I can't tell you how invaluable this is when you sit down and you listen to consumers talk about their real estate experience. It never fails to give you insights and ideas. And that's what we do. We're here to collect insights and ideas that we then turn into marketing for you. The other thing that we do every single month is we survey consumers. And we've been doing this for 3 years. So there are lots of areas where you can get consumer research. The National Association of Realtors does their research. We tend to approach it from a different angle. We ask questions that maybe others won't ask, and we come at it, very objectively. So here is a study that we released, just for example, earlier this year on the eve of all of these changes. And what we wanted to know is what were people who had bought and sold a home thinking about the changes that were in the news about real estate and to get ahead of it. And so we surveyed 1,000 consumers nationwide, and we asked them tons of questions about this. And then we get feedback that informs marketing ideas that we give to our members. We just fielded a survey last month on the fall in mortgage rates. So for the last 2.5 years, everybody inside the industry, we've been waiting for rates to fall. We've been waiting for the Fed to cut. The rates have pulled back a little bit. The Fed has cut. And we want to know what locked in sellers and locked out home buyers are thinking about and what they need in order to take action. And we do that again so we can formulate ideas and marketing for you to use. So let me give you an example of how this process of listening to consumers and then formulating marketing tactics and strategies based on what we hear works. It's just one of dozens and dozens of examples that we give to our members every single month. So we had noticed as students of real estate marketing that lots of practitioners, agents, brokers, team leads, you even see this in the real estate tech space, markets around in some way, whether it's this language or not, the idea of we are here to make real estate easy. And our hypothesis was that consumers aren't buying this because however skilled you are as an agent or broker, the process is still inherently hard, intellectually, emotionally, time-wise, financially, for consumers. And so when we tell people that we make the process easy, we're actually telling people that we don't recognize what they're feeling. So what we wanted to do was unpack that a little bit. And lo and behold, what we found is that even people who thought their real estate agent was absolutely amazing still viewed the process as being very difficult and taxing. Makes sense. And so what we decided to do was to take that insight and formulate it into marketing that told a different story. And rather than saying, we'll make it easy, said, we know this is hard for you. We are going to help you as your agent or your broker navigate this really difficult and complicated thing towards a good outcome because we do X, Y, and Z, and that's our job. So a different strategy. So let me show you how that comes to life. So what we do is we usually use a fictitious real estate company to give you examples, right? So ABC Realty, okay? And our members take this and they apply it to their practice, their team, their brokerage, wherever they're at, right? So this could be a postcard, it could be an email, it could be a social post. Here it's just happens to be mocked up as an outdoor ad. Selling your home isn't easy. It's hard. Our job is to make it happen on the best possible terms. See how we do it. So this is a different marketing approach formulated through research that resonates with consumers and a truth that they are feeling. You see how this might express itself in social advertising. So we also deliver Canva templates, by the way, along with all of these marketing examples. So you can take them and run with them. You can adapt the voice, adapt the look to your own market, your own brand. But you see how this strategy plays out in social. It's not just you, it is a little scary. Selling your home is complicated, time, money, negotiations. It's why we're here, to get you through it as successfully as possible. Why does somebody need to hire and pay somebody for something that is easy? Ask yourself that. They need to hire and pay for somebody to help them do something that is hard. Inspection, showing, negotiations, paperwork, let the fun begin. Selling your home isn't simple, but we'll make sure it's successful because complicated things are what we handle. There are things to worry about in your home sale. You're going to worry about things. Your agent shouldn't be one of them. You get the idea. I'll give you another example of how what we do in listening informs marketing. So we did a survey recently of 1,000 recent home buyers, people who had bought a home in the last 3 years. Obviously, listening to home buyers is super important right now. So we've been really focused on this. And we asked these folks, what do you think was the most valuable service the agent who helped you buy your home provided? And you see a range of answers, but what we see here is pretty interesting. Less than 10% said helping me find a home, which is interesting considering the fact that many brokers and agents market around that. I'm going to help you with home search, use my home search website, my home search app. That's not the value. The number one answer was interpreting inspection and disclosure reports about properties and noting potential issues. So that's what buyers value the most. And if we translate that into a simple feeling, what buyers are telling us is that what they value most from a real estate agent is helping them not screw it up, helping them mitigate risk. If you buy the wrong house, your family's going to be upset and cranky. It can affect your life. If you pay too much for a house, you're going to regret it. If you buy a house with issues that nobody saw in advance, you're going to end up in a money pit. That's what buyers value the most. Mitigate my risk on this big, scary thing. So what do we do to address this insight in our marketing? Well, what we do is we take what a good agent does with home buyers, and we align it with this worry or concern that we know that buyers have, which is, I can't screw this up. And we meet them where they're at with how we can meet that fear. So here's how, again, this might show up in a social campaign. ABC Realty, again, our fake company or fake team, because Zillow won't tell you about the bad wiring. A home is a big purchase. It's our job to make sure you get it right. We know all the things sellers wished you didn't know and all the information you'll never find online. Okay. Don't hire us to find you a home. If you want to connect with people, first of all, you can't be saying the same thing as everybody else. So we know that people don't value an agent very much for finding a home. So don't hire us to find you a home. There are apps for that. Hire us to scrutinize it and weigh the pros and cons. Our knowledge will save you money, save your sanity, and give you confidence. Is that a problem? Knowing the answer to that question is the most important thing we do for our buyer clients, because buying a home is hard enough without unexpected surprises. A home is not a toaster. We do it too. Hours looking at photos, reviews, and specs for a returnable $40 toaster on Amazon. But the stakes are far higher when you're buying a home, and we're here to help you know exactly what you're getting into. Dream home, nightmare home. It's our job to spot the difference. Everything that can go wrong won't go wrong. That's our law with home buyers. We make sure to spot and avoid problems with homes so our clients don't have to live with them. Now, you may be thinking, I don't want to scare away people. I don't want to seem doom and gloom. I encourage you not to fall into that trap. Painting a picture of risk and how you help mitigate it is done in advertising all the time. Maybe you've seen this ad campaign that's been running for years from Allstate, and it's based around this character called Mayhem. And Mayhem is a device for showing people all the bad things that can happen and what the consequences are for not having good, for example, homeowners insurance. So this is the same formula. Bad things can happen that you're worried about. Therefore, you need someone like me. So don't shy away from doing things that are a little bit edgy. I'll give you another example. So we asked these recent buyers, how many of you have stayed in touch with your agent since your transaction? Now, of course, the number of agents who reach out to their client was abysmal. Only about 50% did. But here we're asking consumers, did you reach out to your agent after you moved into your house? Well, 46% said no, I didn't. I didn't reach out to my agent. And what we then asked was, why? Why have you not reached out to your agent? So we asked those people who said, no, I haven't reached out. Why? Well, 46% said it did not occur to me to ask. And I didn't think my agent had the knowledge to help outside of a transaction, 21%. Okay, most real estate agents have plenty of information that can help somebody who just moved into their house. So if we know that it's not that people don't trust their agent, it's just they didn't think about it or didn't think their agent had the information that could help them, we then started to ask, well, to those of you who did reach out to your agent, what did you reach out about? Well, predictably, 42% said recommendations for a service provider. Do you have a blinds guy, a heater guy, a floor guy, whatever guy you need? For an update on my home's value, that was 38%. 13% was to ask for an upgrade on my home, right? So we know most people aren't bothering to reach out to their agent, but we know that those who are reaching out for specific things. So what do we do with this research insight? Well, in this case, our marketing tactic that we gave to our members was an email, a really simple email. And I can't tell you how many of our members have commented to us that they have used this and it works. So again, think about this. It's not about the latest tool or technology for marketing. It's stuff like this. Marketing is often simpler than we think it is. So here's how you would act on that insight. Well, maybe to your entire sphere, you send this email once a quarter. Hi, just a quick note to remind you of 3 ways that I can be helpful to you. I can connect you with a good home services person. Experience has taught me who's great, who's not so great, and what you might want to think about and ask for when talking to these folks. Second, I can prepare an updated value estimate. Your home is a big asset, and if you ever want to know what it's likely worth, I can give you an analysis that's far more accurate than anything you'll get from Zillow. Third, I can give you an opinion on a home project. Will upgrading your master bath increase your home's value? How about solar? I've been involved in plenty of renovation projects and will probably give you some guidance. Don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to be of assistance. Okay? I know all of you could send this email because you have this information. It's really simple. So you see how research informs marketing. This is what our members get. Again, over and over again, you can do all kinds of stuff here. So sellers, we talk to sellers, we've talked to baby boomers and what motivates them. We've talked to millennials and what motivates them. We did a survey on sellers. This is a report we did on listing agent value and compensation. And so what was really interesting is that, we found the thing that sellers struggle with the most and what they need the most help with from their agent is they find the negotiation and back and forth of buyers to be the most stressful part of the transaction, which makes sense, right? People don't like haggling when it comes to something as personal and close to them as their home. And so with that research insight, again, we mocked this up as a web page and we wrote a whole page on this. And it's something that our members, again, your broker, agent, team lead, doesn't matter. Use this on your website. You get what your agent negotiates. This is how you speak to sellers. There's a lot to negotiate when you sell your home. It's not just price either. Credits, repairs, closing dates, rent backs, and lots more come up regularly. We've sharpened our negotiating skills over hundreds of transactions so you can rest easy knowing we'll get you what you want and need. Okay. And then the idea is also to create stories. We all use testimonials, but what if you created stories around your clients of ways where you successfully negotiated on their behalf as their listing agent? To see how this marketing comes to life. So I'll give you another example from a recent survey we did just in August about falling mortgage rates. So we asked people, generally speaking, when you think about moving or about buying, do you think first of mortgage interest rates or the amount of monthly payment you think you can afford? And 72% said, well, I think about the monthly payment. So rates are, they got to do some translation in their head. Most people know that I can afford for example, $2,100 a month. That's what I can pay for my housing expense. That's the language that they use. So rather than putting out messaging, as I've seen over the last couple of weeks after the Fed rate cut about rates are falling, let's talk. We're now at the 30-year fix, just right around 6%. Jump down. Speak in the language that your customer speaks in. So if you started saying, well, look, the average price of a home in whatever neighborhood or development that you work in is X, 500K. Do the numbers. Over the last year and a half, since mortgage rates peaked last fall, you can say, for example, that the average monthly payment has dropped in your area from $4,000 to $3,500 since last fall. If that's a payment you can live with, let's talk. This is how you speak to this moment where mortgage rates are falling and the lock-in effect is starting to weaken. And part of this really is just sort of rethinking standard marketing tactics that every agent has done forever. And this is part of the problem. We exist in kind of a look around industry, meaning agents tend to look around at whoever is doing something successfully and do that. When in reality, in order to differentiate from the thousands of agents they compete with, they need to be looking inward and thinking about what they can be doing differently. So here's the standard recent neighborhood sales postcard. I get 3 or 4 of these a week. You do too. We all know this. So we thought, how could we reinvent this? And so in a way that highlights differentiated value. So rather than just doing the grid of list to ask price and all of that type of stuff, we thought, well, what if you just took an extra 10 minutes and highlighted 3 recent sales, did the list and the sale price, but then also included a sentence of your commentary. So 4610 Manchester went for a little bit over asking price, and it did so because the backyard was landscaped for sale, great staging, showed great within the Excelsior School District, right? So you get the idea. You're demonstrating knowledge and value in something that you're probably doing anyway. So last example of just reinventing. So this is a sort of bleached out view of what 99.9% of real estate websites look like. Meaning, if you took the colors and the logo off your website or your company's website, it probably would look like this. You'd have a logo in the top left. You'd have maybe a buying page, a selling page, a contact page, an about page. You would have a generic IDX home search in the middle. And then maybe if you had some listings, you would show your featured listings. Every real estate website from every competitor of yours right now is basically showing this, undifferentiated. And the sad thing about this is people are going to search on Zillow or Realtor.com anyway. So you're leading with something that is not only undifferentiated, but is not even terribly valued. So we said, well, what if we do this? And we use our website to actually do something differentiated and to actually make the case for our services based on the insights we have about what people value most. So for example, if you service buyers, that's mostly your business, you might lead with something like this instead of the generic search box. Speak to homebuyers right now. We're here to help you with the hard part. Speak to them in language that tells them the truth and connects with the reality that they have in their heart and mind. What homebuyers representation means at ABC Realty. Here's the truth. Interest rates are still persistently high. Home prices also remain high. Many sellers are resistant to negotiating even as the number of homes available to buyers grows. It's still a tough market for buyers. We said tough, not impossible. If you want to purchase a home right now, we're prepared to make that happen. It just takes strategy, smarts, and tenacious representation. So again, do something different. So that's part of what we do here is just reinvent things in a way that's more resonant and differentiated. So that's a peek at what our membership program is. We do this every single month. We do live webinars and workshops with our members where they ask us questions. We provide analysis of all the research we do. and a nonstop stream of insights and ideas that help our members win and connect in some really weird times. This QR code will take you to the page on Bright's website where you can learn more about our membership program and sign up. It's $395 a year for an individual practitioner. If you're a brokerage company, it's $2,500 a year, and you get a dozen people that can access it. This can fuel your entire marketing strategy for a year for just $2,500. So check it out. And I hope you found this informative and at least got some interesting ideas. But we're here to help you win in this really weird new world in which we operate. Thank you.